The man indeed. Hello, my friends. Hello, fellow patriots. Welcome in. Good to be with you today. We've got a lot to cover. What a day in the news. And let's bring in a guy who's wearing a beautiful teal shirt today. You're going to really enjoy this. Let me put him on screen. Mr. Herms, how are you, my friend? Oh, he's muted. Dang.
I'm muted,
You're muted.
but the good news is I'm busy drinking liberal tears.
There you go. Liberal tears for all. Oh, brother.
And thank you, LT, for making more liberals cry.
Yeah. Huh?
It's interesting, isn't it? The momentum that's happening right now. We'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but I think the momentum is going to have an unfortunate temporary backlash. Because I do believe there's going to be some type of Antifa BLM deal coming up in most major cities. It's going to kick off something. And I don't do fear porn. I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves, but we'll see.
I think everyone's on that same page, Lewis. It's just a matter of, the timing. But everyone seems to be focused on mid-July, coming up that we're going to see a lot of action. And it's interesting with the SCOTUS thing. They were supposed to bring out 18 rulings today. They brought out 2. And it feels to me like they're going to bring out the rest of them as they're walking up the jet ramp there to go on their plane to get out of town. They're going to drop off the rulings.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. I'm out of here.
That could be. We're going on vacation, or we have an appointment at Gitmo on the basketball court.
Yeah, it just seems like they know that there's going to be backlash either way, either whatever the ruling is. I think there's going to be fire on either side. So it just feels like that's what they're doing. They're holding off because Bannon's show this morning, he had the whole show set up. We're going to go through it. He had Mike Davis at the Capitol, at the Supreme Court, outside, ready to go. He had Marjorie Taylor Greene. He had Julie Kelly. All these people lined up. And those 2 rulings came out, and that was it. So he literally had to fill 2 hours. He had to fill 2 hours. The whole thing went to hell in a handbasket. So he did a good job of doing that, but oh boy. Yeah, everyone was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people scared, and if the Supreme Court makes the correct ruling, they have every reason to be scared. And it's almost counterintuitive to think that if the Supreme Court makes the right ruling, they have every reason to be scared. It's hard to say that sentence, but there's a lot of thought behind that, because if they continue to make bad rulings, rarely do the patriots stand up. They kind of stand up and they bitch, but they're not going to go burn down cities.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
If the Supreme Court makes good rulings, the Marxist controlled MK Ultra left will absolutely start burning down cities. And so it's if they're legitimate, it's a tough place for them to be in. That's for sure.
It was, and I think a lot of people were talking about that on X today. They were saying it's very clear to them anyway that the Supreme Court, they're scared, and the ruling that they did today kind of, well, you know what, you really don't have standing. It's like, how does a case get all the way to the Supreme Court and not have standing? No one's quite putting their hands on that one and going, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense.
They've kind of done the same thing to almost every Lloyd Brunson case too, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And, we see that at the lower courts as well. I'm going to say local courts, lower courts as well. It's always, you don't have standing, you don't have standing. All the election challenges back in 2020, nobody had any standing.
Yeah, well, over 70 of them.
We all had standing because everybody was impacted by, the election
Exactly
fraud.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I want to tell you, I want to share something with you and see if you're feeling the same way. The amount of information, the disclosures coming up, everything from 9/11 forward, even there's some JFK stuff in the news too that's popping. Everything seems to be popping all at once. So much so you can't get your head wrapped around it. I mean, we could do a 4-hour show and still not cover it.
No, I think the last 24 hours have been epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely epic. In fact, I'm going to ask you if you're even going to cover this one story because there's so many out there. How about the Georgia Supreme Court ruling that Fulton County can go ahead and destroy all their ballots that they're just about ready to audit?
Wow.
2020.
Wow.
They just came out and said, and they remember we were talking about Georgia's heating up, and they've asked for an audit. They said, okay, we're ready. We have the team. We can prove it. Just let us get in there and do a forensic audit of all the ballots. The answer was, okay, yes, 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 yes. Then the ruling is you can destroy those ballots. What the heck? Wow. If that's not a cover up, I don't know what is.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's another one too. This one just broke. County officials in Rio Grande, Colorado, have terminated their contract with Dominion, and all funding for their voting machines have been rescinded. So you say nothing's really happening out there. Boy, this thing's popping left, right, and center, though.
I wouldn't expect that to happen in Colorado too. So that's a huge deal right there.
Yeah, it really is. So that just came across the radar literally about 15 minutes before we went live here today. And it's that kind of day. I mean, you're looking at it and it's like I could update my stories every 20 minutes because there's always something new coming out. With the, I don't even know. I can't really have words for it because I never expected that we'd be here. But everyone kind of said it. It's like we're going to start as we get closer and closer. The deadline seems to be November 5th. And as we get closer to that, more and more and more is coming out. You get to that boiling point, right? Where you look at the tea kettle and it's like, well, there's a couple of little bubbles, no big deal. And all of a sudden it starts a rolling boil, right? It just kind of happens. There's no lead up to it. And it feels like we're right there where, the boiling has begun.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. And I would just recommend, if I could, everybody just be prepared. What does prepared look like? Well, I'll tell you what it looks like to me. My family highly observes our Second Amendment rights. In addition to that, generator, make sure you have the fuel, tons of water, tons of fuel, batteries. Get to know your neighbors. Have a plan. I mean, everything. And in fact, I told people this for years, and I got a little lashback on it, I think, until they started to absorb, and it's pretty sensible. If you get into a situation where they're shutting down things and there's a run on groceries at the grocery store so big, it's staying alive is most important. So believe it or not, I would recommend running to your nearest pet store or pet store aisle of the grocery store and grabbing bags of dog food. Of course it's horrible. Of course it's not going to be fun, but it could help keep you alive for 2 weeks while everybody else is scrambling for what they consider right food. So little things like that. You go, when everybody goes one direction, you go the other direction when there's a panic. That's rule number one in survival. Always go the opposite way of the crowd and the masses when there's a panic situation. So that would be a perfect example of that.
Yep. Absolutely. There's a lot of those kind of strategies. I see a lot of people posting that kind of thing right now. And we don't know what's going to happen, so we're not predicting one way or another. Things could be, not fine. I think things are going to be bumpy. I kind of have always felt that. But we don't know how bumpy, and we don't know how big the bump is going to be and how long it will last. But it's better to be prepared because honestly, there is no downside to being prepared. There is a massive downside to not being prepared if something were to take place. And guys, let me refresh your memory. When everything got shut down in March of 2020, how fast did the grocery store shelves get emptied?
Exactly right.
Within hours, right? I could never seen grocery stores with empty shelves, the entire aisle, nothing left anywhere.
And I gotta say, in a real crisis, the last thing I'm going to worry about is toilet paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just blew me away that was the number one thing is toilet paper. Like, so I'm sorry, but if I'm in a bunker for gas.
Nobody has quite figured out the toilet paper thing yet. It's kind of interesting how that played out. Nobody's kind of went, why that product? Out of all the products that there could be, why that one?
Yes, that's their biggest fear is that their tushy wouldn't be clean.
Well, go to the grocery store. Next time you're at a grocery store, I want you to go down the bottled water aisle. And I want you to think about how much water is in that aisle right? Case of this, 2 cases of that, there's 10 cases of that, and realize how quickly that would disappear in a crisis. It would be gone in the first hour, right? They do
I
not
would agree.
have
First hour.
they don't have the inventory. They don't carry it. It's just in time
Yep.
inventory. It rotates through and it doesn't stay on the shelf very long. And, it's there for a week and then they refill it. It's there for, they know what they're going to sell in a week and that's what they order. But if there's a crisis, that stuff disappears. So,
Yep, absolutely.
yeah, it's a great little exercise. I had Phoebe and I were walking down the aisle, during the crisis, and I said, how fast would this water disappear? And she goes, "There's nothing here." I'm like, "No, think about all the population just in our town. There's not enough for even one bottle of water for everyone that lives here." And she's like, "Wow, that's eye-opening." So we typically have 40 to 60 gallons of bottled water sitting around, and we rotate through them so they don't sit there that long, and we don't know. I guess in California it's a good idea because we never know when the ground's going to start shaking under us too. So probably makes sense anyway.
What's your address for everybody so they can go get their
Everyone
water?
needs a drink. I'll tell you where to go.
I'll tell you where to go in a crisis.
That's right. Oh, brother. Hey, what happened there? That's interesting. All right. I'm looking at the lower third. It's missing. It's not there.
It's gone. Disappeared.
Yeah. Let's clear it. Let's put it back and let's see if it just needs to be restarted. No, it won't come up. Wow.
We've been blanked out today. Our lower third is gone.
Yeah, it's I did some work. You can see the look and feels a little bit different. I gave us a little bit more space so we can breathe a little bit more in our squares. And
yeah, in fact, I have to adjust my camera. I'll do it live, everybody. Look at live production right here. Here we go. Boom, bada bing.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I think it's just this one that is gone. Okay, so there's just one that's missing. Not a big deal. We'll make it happen. We'll leave it on. Okay, good job, Louis. I think you look much better. All right, do you want to talk about this craziness of the Julian Assange story? Because, man, we can go in 50 different directions here. Finally, after, 14 years in asylum? Hiding out in the Ecuador consulate there in the UK. And then finally he gets picked up and put in prison. And he makes a deal and he gets himself out of prison. And today you're seeing part of that deal come to fruition, what he had to do, and things are being deleted.
Now, before you continue, let's have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in chat, right? If you think Julian Assange is working for the white hats, give me a Y or a thumbs up. If you think Julian Assange is compromised by the black hats, put like a BH in there. Let's see. We'll continue to talk about it. But you got to say it before Robert and I disclose what's going on here, because it's a very interesting story.
Yep.
Very interesting story. So, and there's counter messages too, which is very, very weird. The day that they announced that he was going to be released, they said within the same article, but at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, which is today, will be the hearing to announce the potentiality of a plea deal, what if there's any sentencing. So I put out there, I go, so we need to find out, is he going to get time served? What's the sentence? Is he going to be allowed to talk? Is there a gag order? What's going on, right? So, but it all was wonky because pretty much all the information came out way before 9 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Right? Almost like they didn't even need the hearing that they talked about. He was already in Australia by that time. Really wacky, weird the way this happened. Now, let's go into your story, Robert, and then I'll tag on to that because it looks like 90% of people think it's a white hat move.
It's my story. So, I'm sticking to it. Yeah.
So
I think most people are saying that. Yep.
Let's go with that, and then I'll bust a lot of bubbles real quick.
So he stepped off his private jet in Canberra. He was not allowed apparently to fly commercial. He had to fly private, and now they're asking for a $500,000 donation to pay for that private jet. I'm like, it costs $500,000 to fly across the world from the UK to
That's
Australia.
expensive one.
That's yeah. I don't know what kind of drinks were they serving on that plane on that flight. Anyway, he arrived there late Wednesday evening. Which you might say, wait a minute, it's only Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, but they're 15 hours ahead of California. So, yeah, they're a day ahead. Assange raised his hands in a series of salutes and waves and made his way to the terminal. And here's the key thing, at the military airbase. Pay attention to that. That stood out to me for some reason. Something there doesn't make a lot of sense. He had pleaded guilty to one count of conspiring to obtain and disclose national defense information. Doing so as part of the plea agreement in the U.S. Commonwealth and the Northern Mariana Island without setting foot on the mainland, the United States. The agreement appears to have ended a 14-year legal saga since Mr. Assange published a large cache of intelligence documents through WikiLeaks. While he argued they were in the public interest and were protected by First Amendment rights, the U.S. government disagreed and has been trying to extradite him ever since. Yeah.
So, my turn?
Your turn. Let us
All
have
right.
it.
There's some interesting things, and I'm writing them down. I'm not saying this is not a white hat move. I'm saying there's some weird psyop anomalies here. When was he released, and when was the announcement of his release? June 24th, 24. Just so you know, that's a 666. June 24th, 24. 666. So that alone is crazy. Okay? Then you go to the fact he's put to a military base. Huh. Who's controlling the military? That's another question. Yeah, and the Australian military, which we know is deep state is everything, right? It's another question. Another question, if this is so good, why did he have to delete all the information on the DNC from WikiLeaks site in order to get released? Those should be a question. So if he's able to disclose, why would he have to delete that? Now, but here's what's really interesting. Do you know who happens to be in Australia right now?
Oh.
Mr. Disclosure himself, Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah. There's a connection there because Tucker had gone to the UK to interview Julian Assange, and that interview never aired. So I have always felt
Right.
he's involved in this somehow.
And clearly he knew ahead of time. This
Yeah.
is not an accident, I don't think. So I wouldn't be surprised if you suddenly see a Tucker Carlson, Julian Assange interview. That would be likely in mind. So all of those things we need to think about, right? So it all comes back to one thing. Don't wait for some so-called white hats to do something for you. Wait for some so-called black hats to do something bad for you. Get off your tail and go do something for yourself, your city, your county, and your country, right? That's what it comes down to. We've proved it time and time and time again. Even now, with the work that Ethan's doing and myself, we're disclosing that the Q posts were completely manipulated from people. So I wrote this today. So here's a post that I posted today. It's a Q post. It says, listen to this. True rule. The people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. At some point, military generals will act with the will of what? The people. Simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. Think about that. Even back then, it's all we the people, we the people. And our guest coming on is all about we the people rising up. So this is perfect timing. So I wrote in the post, the plan is taken out of context. The message of Q, just like the Bible, is being manipulated outside of those by nefarious reasons. Over said, when the people rise up, the military will follow. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about showing up in mass, like at the Unity Tour, like at the border event we're going to talk about in a moment, right? I feel like I'm beating the war drum of we the people hold all the power until my arms fall off.
Yep.
Because we need to take action. So it's right here in our face on that one Q post. So if you want to believe Q, why don't you really read it? Because it's talking about we the people doing the work, right? I believe God already did the work. We just need to ante up and kick in to reap the harvest, right? So I know people still want an action plan, so we're creating an action plan. We're going to release it right around September 1st for everybody. It's going to be very easy and people to follow to take action. In the meantime, though, you can still do something. You can still go to a board meeting. You can still make your voices heard at a school district that may be having trans reading hour. There's a lot that we can still do in the meantime. Go to a border event. So I'm excited because I believe the people are now starting to get it that we need to be part of the process, sitting on our couch eating popcorn wearing frog masks.
I love the way you put that. What an image. Awesome. Mark, you're not frozen. You're not. Oh, you're still going. Good. Okay, good. Internet here is giving me more gray hair today. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you're not usually freezing on us, but today you are a little bit. How about, I think it's time to bring on our guest. It looks like, we have two guests. Good. They're both here in the back now. So if this is a good time for you, Robert, let's do it and hope your internet holds up, because this is going to be an awesome 10 or 15 minutes here.
I hope so too. All I can hope for is it working today. All right. Let me just get him set up here. Here we go. We're good, Lewis. You can bring him in when you're ready.
Cool. So, folks, as you know, we've got the Unity Tour going on, and we had the Truth Tour before, and kind of sandwiched between the two of those, you have an awesome group led by Kim Yater, Mark Anthony, and some other people called Take Our Border Back. They did a phenomenal job. I went to an event in Yuma. They've got one coming up this weekend, San Ysidro, and then we're going to announce here how we partnered with them on another event, because it's all about bringing unity. So, Robert, let's bring on Kim and Mark if we could.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. It's so great to be here, Louis. Thanks for having us. Robert, thank you.
You're welcome, Kim. Good to see you.
So what the heck is going on with you guys? I know you've been so busy, and you know what I appreciate? You're so organized. I was just telling my wife there's another lesson I can learn, is a little bit better on the organization front. So you do a phenomenal job.
There's this I remember being in a theater production years ago, and I led this traveling theater team. And I remember this one quote. It was organize, hear the wheels grind, function, so we won't be left behind. I don't know where that's coming from, but that was back in my old days. I'll tell you what, this is all about organizing, but we, the people, organizing and coming together. That's the power. This is not something that one person is doing. This is something that we as a team, our Take Our Border Back North America Alliance, USA, Canada, Mexico, our team of we the people have come together. Louis, it's so much more fun in team. And it's about a lot of people doing a little bit of work, because I think a lot of us have been doing most of the work for quite some time.
Yeah. Everybody needs to ante up and kick in. That's been my message lately. And we're so much stronger together. But I'm excited. Let's talk about your event coming up this Saturday, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so amazing. So, Mark, you want to go first? Because Mark's...
No, I'll let you assist.
Okay, so guys, first of all, this is a pretty big deal. When the well-decorated military Veterans for Freedom in Canada comes to you, and these guys hold the Bravery Award, the Nobel Peace Prize Award, and they say, Kim, you're looking to the southern border. You've got to look north. The north is being invaded. Canada has been flying in illegal immigrants for 5 years. China has already set up shop. When he turned to me and he said that to me, and he said, Kim, we need you. We need America's help. We need you guys to stand up. That was the beginning. The beginning, the seeds were planted. We didn't know what was next, Lewis, but we knew that there was something, because although we reached tens of thousands with our southern border, Take Our Border Back convoy, people now coming out, all illegal immigrants. So we said, okay, this is it. We are doing the Take Our Border Back North America Alliance, Breaking Bread, Table Talk, and Prayer. 3 countries, 5 states, 2 provinces in Mexico, 2 provinces in Canada, 2 cities in Mexico. And we are bringing the real issues with the solutions, the strategies to the table. The first one is this weekend. It's in San Ysidro. This is California. It's a little hot here right now, guys. I'm like breaking a sweat in my office. It's so worth it. We're going to be in San Ysidro. It's 10 to 5. Now, it's a structured time, but it's going to be a powerful time because we're giving power back to the people. We have 7 key topics that we're going to be bringing to the table nationwide so that this hits at an international level. And I'll tell you what, the topics of sovereignty and the 2 swords. Now, we've got these people that are going, what's up with the sovereignty movement? We're not part of that movement. Heads up. This is about our God-given sovereignty, our freedom that comes from our Creator. We're restoring. This is restoration. We're putting the first things first. It's how to utilize God's word in the Constitution. We're given these 2 swords. Man, we got to learn how to wield the swords. We got to dig on in and know how to utilize those swords. We're going to teach you how to do just that so you can go to your school boards, your board of supervisors. You can go to the places you need to go to get a movement and for we, the people, to take our power back, secure the ballot box, and the administration signs on to that. We've just given our sovereignty away. That's how close we are, you guys. That's how crazy this is. We need to understand how to take our power back on a local level in this area. Now, you'll hear me say, as well as many others, local action equals national impact. We're learning. We have the power. Lewis, you just said it. There's more of us than them. There's 8 billion of us. We've got to step in. We are not powerless. We are not victims. Listen, I am a victor in Christ. We're going to get it done. The battle is the Lord's. It's going to be us coming together. And again, you cannot fight a spiritual battle with physical weapons. That's so powerful. So our 7 topics, just to finish that off, 7 steps to taking our elections back. Yeah, 7 steps. We have the experts in the room. And these tools are transferable, which is so powerful. And we, the people, are having the table talks. This is the coolest thing. Mark and I love this because get the people talking, get them discussing it, create possibility. Let's not be talking about the problem. Yes, there's a problem. What's the solution? What are the steps I can take right now that are going to move the needle? You're going to have that at your fingertips. Now, Border Patrol there, 26 years retired. They are the border analysts. They are the whistleblowers. They are there. We've got Sean Wilson there as well. Gil Maza there. We've got your Veterans for Freedom, Craig Sawman Sawyer there. What's the deal with human trafficking right under our feet? What's the solution? How do we notice it when it's happening? What do we look for? How do we report it? What can we do when all of this is exposed? And these children, the women and men need us. That's what we're going to learn. We're also going to learn, and this is really important, you guys. Remember the old neighborhood watches? Do you remember that? Remember the signs? You still see them in your neighborhood. Who's watching the neighborhoods? Nobody's watching the neighborhoods. Sometimes, thank God for villages and families, because we are looking out for one another in some communities, but we need to reestablish those. We actually need to create something a little bit new. This is really key. Community safety and security groups. We've got one of our major specialists, Steve Slepshevik, coming to the table. He is a security expert nationally. And let me tell you, when you go to his home, I've been there with his amazing wife. We've gone there, and his whole community is shored up. They know what to do. We need to know what to do. We have strategies and tactics in place and tools so that you are fully equipped. Last but not least, I think I hit on every single one of them. The border impact. That's really important, where we've got our border people. Like, you're going to love Commander Jay Furman. Lewis, do you know Commander Jay Furman?
I don't know.
Incredible. Imagine this. What if you had a location where you weren't being censored? Listen, we've already been taken off Facebook and Instagram over and over. I'm being censored. They're taking down old posts. They're taking down my shows right now. I'm already shut down on YouTube and on LinkedIn. But what if you actually had a space for all the freedom-loving patriots, all the truth tellers, all we Americans that want to protect our babies, our families, and we could begin to report everything that was happening around these border issues right in our neighborhoods, right in our states at the moment. You're going to have access to that. And you're also, all that information, it's going to go to change law. These are the kind of people we've brought on this team. They are the action takers, the game changers. So we're going to be all over the country, but our first one is this Saturday. We are days away from San Ysidro, Larson Field. It's going to be extraordinary. Go to takeourborderback.com. And here's the deal. Lewis, I say this over and over. Mark, we have the heart, like most Americans, where we want to do everything for free. We love people. We love our country. It's cost us all a lot of our time, a lot of time. We've not gotten paid for any of this, heads up. And sometimes it's 18, 19-hour days. It's long days, and we're putting in increments of work in there so that we can feed our families. We can only do this with you. So every cent that comes into support will go directly to creating these events throughout the country. And the events that are happening are going to be amazing. So you can go to givesendgo.com/take our border back. That's givesendgo.com/take our border back. $1, $5. And for those of you who've already given, thank you. Do you know what that means? We actually can have porta potties. Do you know what that means? We can have umbrellas when it's going to be like 80 degrees. Do you know what that means? We can have water. Do you know what that means? We can have food to feed you. Like, that's the reality of the things that the money are going to. And last but not least, we're in Texas. We're in Texas, July 27th, Dripping Springs, One Shot, Colonel Phil Waldron, Doc Pete Chambers. You may have heard about that on Tucker Carlson for our last round. I'm sure we'll be visiting Tucker again. I heard you talking about Tucker. Love that, Lewis. Love what you bring to the table. And we're going to actually convoy to Quamato. On the 24th, we're in Shelby, Montana, and Coots, Alberta, Canada. That's going to be powerful. The team there is extraordinary. We will convoy to the border and break bread together and pray. Let me tell you, strongholds, we're going to declare victory. We're taking territory in Jesus' name. I say in Jesus' name, man. I know where my power comes from. September 28th, Youngstown, New York, and Niagara Falls, Canada. We're taking back the rainbow. Yep. Because the rainbow is really a promise from God. We're taking back the rainbow. We're going to be on Rainbow Bridge. It's going to be extraordinary. And guess who's going to be there? Ooh, Louis Herms and the whole team. We're so excited, you guys. We are joining forces. We want to support everything that you're doing, Louis. In 50 states, we want to support you because you're bringing truth to the table. You're empowering the people. This is so important. And we're joining forces in New York, you guys. I'm so excited. And so the whole team is going to be there. You've got to join us, guys. And that, again, is September 28th. We'll cross the Rainbow Bridge together. It's going to be extraordinary. October 19th is Yuma, Arizona, and San Luis, Rio, Colorado. We'll meet at Britton Farms. And then we're going to convoy to Mexico, to the border. We're not going into Mexico, but we have teams there that are meeting us. And we're going to break bread and pray together. Last but not least, November 28th. What's November 28th? It's Thanksgiving. In America, we break bread together. We get together with the people we love. We invite our friends and our neighbors. And we're taking these talking points to the table. We're going to equip you on Thanksgiving morning while the turkey's in the oven. You're putting the thermometer in it, checking the temperature, making the sweet potatoes. Get us on we'll send you the link, and we're going to equip you with how to have these. We want to empower you to have the conversations that are actually going to create possibility. The Bible says the heart is deep waters. A wise man draws out the heart. And we want to equip you with how to do that so that people don't feel wrong and judged. And last but not least, I'm going to be quiet, but I got to say, Second Chronicles is the scripture. This is the scripture for our Take Our Border Back North America Alliance. Our teams in Canada, our teams in Mexico, and we've got people in the Netherlands and Germany that are rooting for us. You guys are saying, go America, stand up. Because if you don't stand up, we know that we'll go down. Okay, the scripture is Second Chronicles. The Lord said, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear their voice and heal their land. I think of the land here, my mind and my heart. I think of the land here, and I think of my family. And then I think of our country and our world. That's what's in store for all of us. I like to say his kingdom on this earth as it is in heaven. Join us. TakeOurBorderBack.com. You can find us on X at TOBB Convoy, Maine. You'll find us on Rumble. Take our border back, we the people. And Lewis, again, I'm going to leave this there. We can do this with you. We can't do it without you. We can do this with all of you guys. And that's givesendgo.com/take our border back. Thank you for all that you do, Lewis. An honor to partner with you. We just love you.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing, Kim. Next time, can you bring a little bit more energy?
I'm working on it.
And let's talk to the wallflower real quick while we have a minute. That's Mark Anthony.
Mighty warrior.
Oh, good. It's good to be here. It's good to be back. It's good to see everybody here. This is a long time coming, and I spent, as most of your crowd knows, Lewis, I spent a tremendous amount of time with you. But we've talked on stage. We gave them, we give them all the pep talks. Now the action time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's now. It's time to put action to those words and those pep talks. There's, Juan wrote a book, Kid on the Side of the Road. And I don't want to be that kid on the side of the road that watches my country be wheeled down in a casket before me. We have to stop it. And now's the time. Now, what Kim said, Steve Slapovich, Craig Sawyer, Sean Wilson, many of you people don't know this, but, that's part of my teams. I make up of 5 different teams. Some's global, some's international, on an international basis, behind the scenes. And these people I work closely with and partnered with over the years. And you're gonna get, if you don't know me, you're gonna get a firsthand look of what we do behind the scenes and what that really looks like. Like she said, Steve does global security. He's at the top of the chain. Sean is the top of the spear with global intel, border stuff. I mean, we have such an assembly that. To me, without being an actual governmental agency, we lead it. I mean, they come to us, Fox News, all the other channels, they come for us for video because we have it on. And I'm so thankful to have those people and being in partnerships and being able to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. But, we love you, man. I was like, this is like a blessing in disguise, this putting all this together. I'm just so thankful.
Yeah, this is awesome. And guys, anybody watching here, we have to understand what the ultimate goal is, right? Some may not resonate with Mark, some may not resonate with me, some may not resonate with Kim. I know many people have problems with Craig Sawyer. Nobody should have a problem with Sean Wilson if you know what the guy's doing on the border. But it doesn't matter who you resonate with and who you don't, guys. This is a time for unity. Unity. In fact, the Unity Tour has 4 pillars. We will end New World Control, Cannot everybody agree on that? I would think so. We will end illegal immigration. Just unite on those 4 pillars alone? Of course we can. So everybody needs to put their differences aside. I've been in contact with several people over the last few days. A few of them don't like me, but they're opening up going, okay, I think you're right, Lewis. We need to come together. This is major importance. So everybody, I'm talking to the audience right now. You need to take a deep breath right now. It's not about being a conspiracy theorist. It is about coming together and taking the deep state down.
That's right.
Claiming back our God-given sovereignty.
That's right.
Right. And then after that, let's have these discussions about Christianity or Buddhism or whatever you want to do. But right now, let's just get together and get this done.
Right. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this in a casket willing in front of me.
Yeah.
I want us to save our country.
That's right. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, if we swallow this whole deep set shit burger, what we're going to do is to try to do any of this stuff when you're in a complete tyrannical communist control. You go ahead and try to do any of it then. This is our last
That's right.
chance.
That's right. Let's do it for Lakin Riley. Let's do it for Jocelyn Noongaray.
Let's do it for all the generations to come.
Yes.
All right.
Amen to that one.
Thank you, guys. God bless both of you.
We love you. God bless you.
Appreciate your hard work.
God bless our country.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good job, Lewis.
Hey, Mr. Imbrelli.
Back at it. Here we go.
Hey, Robert. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Mark. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I figured I better let Kim go first. She's got a lot to say, and she puts it on point real time. I'm just that little segment. I like those little bitty segments,
Yeah, well, you're the important piece,
so
though.
what's on the agenda for the rest of the day?
Don't forget that you're the important piece here.
Well, it's I tell people all the time, like Lewis. I mean, Lewis teaches us all the time. I listen to him. Trust me. Without my team, I would be nothing, zero.
Yeah.
And together, we're a we. We're not an I. So that's what we need. And as together as this unity, it's going to have to be a we and not an I. We got to lose that word completely. Billionaires, millionaires don't make their fortune with an I. They make it with a we. And it's the gathering of the team and putting it all together. So I'm blessed.
So true.
All the way around.
Yep.
You guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see you. I'll holler at you later, Lewis.
Right.
See you, buddy.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Guys, if you want to follow up and find out where Lewis is and what he's doing, including the Unity Tour coming up in September, screwbiggov.com is the place to be. You'll find everything there, including the links to his social media. There's a lot of spoofing going on out there, and we see this all the time. People create fake accounts. I've been hearing a lot of people grabbing the Renegade Media logo and, creating a fake account. And I even actually see it in the Renegade Media chat room where it looks like the chat is coming from me. The message is coming from me. It's not. And I find those and I delete them as much as I can. But boy, it is like swatting flies out in the deep woods. It's just constantly happening. So use the social media button there to find Lewis's real social media. And no, neither one of us are going to reach out to you directly on social media and ask for money, especially. Oh boy. You can follow me at Renegade Media on Telegram, or you can email me, robert@renegademedia.tv. Whew. Big day. Big day.
Yeah. In regards to that, I can't give any details. I'll just say there's a big meeting coming up with some pretty significant influencers, money from our audience. And it's very sophisticated what they're doing, but we have a counter operation going towards that. So that's all I can say. I can just say that we're working on it, guys. So when you see these things, of course, I got one today. Somebody, of course, is out there claiming to be me and saying, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you," even giving a phone number out so they can get a phone call and steal your money. So we don't do that. We're never going to do that. I don't DM people, but now they're posting under my name on several different platforms as if they're me.
Yep.
Because I'm so freaking famous, I guess. It's just so stupid. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So, guys, that's not going to be us whatsoever. You know what we're working on. But we're working on some strategies to combat these evildoers. And by the way, before we thought these were independent evildoers, we think these are deep state controlled people now. I'll just give you that much.
It's a lot easier to do today than it was 5 years ago. With AI, it happens a lot quicker, and they can handle all, as many personal one-on-one messages. And you think you're actually speaking to somebody? Nope, it's just an AI, and it's programmed, and it knows exactly what it's going to do, and it's going to get you to that point where put your credit card in. We want your money. So. Mm-hmm. We don't do that. It's not the way we play. So if it ever happens to you, bail on those. And by the way, if you get any of those spam messages, just delete them and report them. And if you can't report them, just delete them. Just don't answer them. Don't interact with them. The best way to deal with it is just to not deal with it.
And to give you an idea how the big players are have stolen, or let's just say reproduced my content under my name, and they're not getting deleted on TikTok, where our same videos are. They're not getting deleted on YouTube or losing their account, which we have, and lost our TikTok account. Again, we're having an issue with TikTok on our last 4 videos, I think. And even on X, somebody's mimicking me, and something that X refuses to put down or talks to me about, they get to keep up. So it sounds like there's collusion with the big social media companies as well. I'm going to go a little deeper here. On Rumble, in the last 2 days, and this is where we all have to be diligent, in the last 2 days, my wife has been unsubscribed from my account. Yesterday, it took her 3 or 4 times to resubscribe just before it took it. She's been unsubscribed from my account. My own wife. Happened again today. She just texted me while Robert and I were preparing, and she goes, "It just happened again. I just refollowed you." Guys, if you're a subscriber on this Rumble channel, whatever you're watching, whoever's channel you're watching right now, you need to go in and double check that you're subscribed. Our numbers are we can't figure out why our numbers are dropping all the time. Well, it's because they are unsubscribing people. And we believe, this is what we've come to a conclusion, we believe the reason why is because they are trying to make us upset and just give up. Feel hopeless, right? We are not giving up. We are not giving in. We're going to go stronger. We have so much between now and the Truth Tour that we're going to release. I think you're in a good way. Your head will explode. So just hang in with us, guys. We're working as hard as we can for we the people. And we'll come back to this, guys. When it's all said and done, if you get to work, when your family says, "What did you do?" you're going to have a phenomenal story, and people are really going to be appreciative of what you did to take your country back.
Yep. Could be grounds for a problem in the relationship when your spouse is unsubscribed from your channel. And you go, "What in the hell are you thinking, woman?" No, I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. Okay, well, yeah, we see some weird things on social media, and it's really hard to get to a point where you can really figure out what's going on because we have so little information about how these systems work, right? They industry secrets, they don't share, all that kind of thing. We have no idea why it's happening. We know it's happening, and we persevere. We keep going. And my audience on X is actually growing, which is interesting, and on Rumble it's not. So hard to figure exactly what's going on.
It is, but we keep pushing. That's all we're going to do.
You want to talk about the SCOTUS court case or the ruling that they came out with today a little bit deeper?
Sure, you start. Just give people a summary of it, if you could. The 6-3 ruling you're talking about, I'm assuming.
6-3 ruling. Supreme Court has ruled that the Biden administration's policy of deleting, suppressing, and deplatforming specific people, topics, and ideas is immune from suit. leaving no one able to challenge it in court. That's not exactly true. Apparently, you can still challenge it. This particular ruling made it a little harder, but I've got some good news for you. The ruling was written by Amy Coney Barrett. Came down with the following key decision. Neither the individual nor the state plaintiffs have established Article 3 standing. Where did we hear that before? You have no standing. Standing to seek an injunction against any defendant. In sum, the court rules that two different types of parties, states and individuals harmed by these government policies, do not have standing to sue. This case is procedurally related to the request for a preliminary injunction for the government to stop the censorship regime while the case was going on. The decision will make trial court action in this case more difficult, but insiders say not impossible. Now, here's some of the things that were brought up in discovery. You'll recognize some of these. So all of that stuff was censored, and that's the stuff they brought out in discovery, and they said the government doesn't have the right to do that. First Amendment says the government cannot censor, nor can it use a proxy to censor, and that's where they were saying, it's like, these social media companies literally are the proxy to censor free speech. Can't do that. Well, Supreme Court kind of disagreed, or actually punted, I think is the best way to look at it at this point. They punted on this, and they said, we're not going to rule on this. We don't have standing. They threw it out. Now, Lewis, how does a case get to the Supreme Court without standing? I don't know. I can't answer that question.
There are some interesting ways that you can jump other jurisdictions, state and even some federal courts, and go straight to the Supreme Court. I don't know if this one did or not. But do you by chance have the dissenting opinion of the three there in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, no.
Okay, because I'd just be very curious to see what their process was. Because if they dissented, those three are saying that they do have standing at this moment. Mm-hmm. So this is another procedural loophole for the courts to avoid something. I believe, and you kind of indicated this, since I believe they have 18 outstanding, they only did 2.
They only did 2,
right?
They released 2, of 18.
I believe they're really afraid of the ramifications of some of this stuff.
Yep, no question.
So what, to me, this is more of, I don't think this is a negative decision as much as it is a delayed decision. So the proponents can come back with a different argument, and they're kind of giving them idea what direction they have to go, and then they would probably reverse the decision 6-3 the other way. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you believe this is part of the movie, let's just say that, everything has to go in a certain order. And this may be more of a, hey, look at this. Oh, okay. Because if you notice what's been happening, it's been Patriot win, deep state win, Patriot win, deep state win, Patriot win, deep state win, right? You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up and down. Now, that will mess with somebody's psychology big time. And that could also be part of the attempt, because I do think there are elements of the deep state that are still very active. And this is a spiritual informational war. So what better way to do this than there's something that goes our way, put out something that's going to deflate our bubble, our bubble. Something that goes away, pop that bubble. Something goes away, pop that bubble. Because if they let us build enough momentum, it will never, ever end for them. So this is just a combat of the deep state, in my opinion. Ultimately, they're all going to cave. Ultimately, the Supreme Court's going to make the right decisions, even if we have to yank a couple of them out of there, right? They're going to end up making the right decisions, whether they're in Gitmo or not. So this can be disappointing for people. But again, the fact that it's, again, standing means there's another opportunity to go back to it.
Right. And speaking of going back to it, This was DC Drano posted this morning, and then there's a follow-up to this, which I think you guys are going to in Murphy versus Biden and how it impacts the First Amendment. I'd like to quell some of those concerns. The decision reversed the injunction based on standing. So the injunction was to put the government's meddling with social media on hold, and they reversed it because they didn't have standing. SCOTUS said that without plaintiffs having sufficient standing, they could not decide the case on the merits. The case is still allowed to proceed on the merits in lower federal courts as to whether or not the government violated the plaintiff's First Amendment right to free speech on social media. Long story short, the battle for free speech rights is not over, and SCOTUS will likely get further involved down the road. So I saw that and I was like, really neat. And then he posted this a little bit later. This is interesting. I know people are upset about the SCOTUS ruling. I am too. But what if I told you there was another case still standing in their hands that deals with government censorship of free speech on social media, and it directly impacts the Ninth Circuit where big tech companies are located? It's his own lawsuit. So he brought the lawsuit to the Supreme Court against Twitter 1.0, and it's called O'Hanley versus Weber. We should be getting the ruling out within the next week. Stay tuned and keep the faith. So
that's extraordinarily interesting, Robert.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, that is cool, because in essence, the Supreme Court already knows about both those cases at the same time. This just may be the way they get to that case,
correct,
which they think is stronger, and it's easier for them. Why? Okay, remember, I tell you guys this all the time. Don't get upset with me. Most judges are cowards. They don't have the courage to make a decision. So it's going to be a lot easier to make a decision, which is a precedence, as we can tell, against Twitter 1.0, which doesn't exist anymore. It'll be a lot easier to make a decision against Twitter 1.0 that doesn't exist anymore. Think about that. So that could be very, very powerful. And it's easier for them. Yes, exactly. Because it's already
impacted, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can see a before and an after.
Yep.
Before, and then when X took over, you can see a complete difference on what happened. So this will be very, very interesting. Very interesting.
So this is one of the 16 outstanding rulings, apparently, and some are saying now that the rest of the rulings will come out not by Friday of this week, but actually sometime next week, which has happened before. Gone into the next one, into July. Normally it's all done in June, but I think they are afraid. I think they literally are going to release the rulings as they're hopping on an airplane out of town. I mean, they know. And they do have Secret Service protection, by the way. The justices now.
Yeah, interesting enough.
Yeah, they didn't before.
Then, by the way, they also can increase that if there's something that they're concerned with.
Right.
So this is all very interesting. I'm getting excited. It's going to be a hot July.
It's popping. Yeah. Yeah, July 4th should be something to celebrate for sure for all of us. I'm looking forward to that. I know the doggies don't like it, though. They really don't like July 4th because of what? What is it that scares them, Lewis?
Yep. Bang, bang, pop, pop, pop.
Bang, bang, pop, pop. Well, we have a solution. Brand new solution just released, I believe, 2 days ago. CB Doggies. This is from Pet Club 24/7, and they have CBD treats for your dog to help calm them down during the bang, bang, bang when they're trying to hide under the couch because they don't know what's going on. It freaks them out. You can imagine because their hearing is much more sensitive than ours, and so that low frequency stuff that we may not be able to hear, they can hear it. And it certainly doesn't make things easy for them. People are like, please don't blow off fireworks. Don't blow up. You're not going to stop people from setting off fireworks. I wish that were possible sometimes, but it's not. So, well, here's a tool for that. You've ordered some, I know. They're supplements featuring beef and cheddar recipe, and they have 2.5 milligrams of CBD per supplement. These tasty supplements are made the old-fashioned way using locally from Southern California sourced ingredients. We carefully make our treats without fillers, no corn, no soy, no added sugars, no salt, no artificial preservatives, no glycerin, no waxes, and, God forbid, no hydrogenated oils. Then we oven bake them to perfection. They're formulated with full spectrum CBD oil grown without GMOs, pesticides, herbicides, or chemical fertilizers, all made and packaged in the USA. So if you're looking for number one food for your dogs, your cat, Pet Club 24/7 is a place to go. And you may want to try this out, CB Doggies, because that July 4th is coming, and it's going to be a loud one.
You know, it's interesting enough, though. This may sound really weird, because I used to like blowing off fireworks in my backyard, to be honest with you. That's where we did it. And I've noticed when we do it, the dogs are engaged and they're watching it happen. They're less affected than when it's going around us. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So it's like if they can see it, they're not as nervous, right? And they kind of hang out. They're curious of what's going on, so on and so forth. It's almost like, I think it's a not knowing. So when they see, Dad lighting off fireworks and they physically see us setting up and everything else, they're like, okay, if Dad says it's okay, this is okay. Right. Interesting. But when we're not doing it, the dogs are running under our beds and upstairs and all over the place to get away. It's a whole different thing, which is and those are farther away. So I think it has to do with them not being engaged in the process. Really freaks them out because they don't know what's going on. They're just dogs. Yep. I know they sound like humans sometimes, but they're just dogs.
And around here, as you may have heard as we're on the show here, helicopters flying over and lots of explosions in the past 2 days on Camp Pendleton. The impact zones were roughly 11 miles, I think, from the closest one. And when those things go off, man, it just rattles the house. It's crazy. So, yeah, not a dog-friendly place, but there's a lot of dogs in this area. All right. Wow. This is named wrong. This is Anna Paulina Luna. She's lowering the boom on Merrick Garland. Have you been following this story at all?
At the beginning. I haven't lately.
Okay. So this is her press release. She's playing with fire, that girl.
So that is all very well and good. I like it. Let's look at something, though. And you're old enough to remember, like I am. Back in the day, love that statement. Back in the day, the only time you would see some significant action from Congress would be from senior legislators. The only time.
Yep.
Because there's a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
If they brought something very important up, they always, even if it was a youngster that brought it, the hierarchy would say, it has to go through this. It was a pyramid effect, and the guy on the top or one of the main ones are going to have to bring it to the floor, and then they put their name on it. That's the way it worked. That's out the window the last couple of years.
Yep. And
interesting enough, the people that are bringing these young junior legislators have all had the support of Trump and a personal meeting with Trump before they were in office. Think about that. The correlation there is very interesting. This is why I say Trump, even for the normies, they have to understand Trump's so much more involved than they think he is. It's not an accident. And look at the significant people standing behind her, supporting her as if she's the boss.
Yeah.
And she's a junior legislator.
She's a junior, yeah, exactly. And she went around to each one of them, and they literally handed out letters. She had conversations, and she's trying to push this through. And it really, what it's going to do, it's going to expose the ones who really are the rhinos, and really the ones who are not on our side at all. And it's a great thing. I don't believe that she'll get the votes. Just my hunch, too many rhinos there, but it'll help us at least have a list again of the people we want to get rid of going forward.
Well, like I've told the people in several counties, and a lot I've told them this in Maricopa County, it's about getting it on the record. I think people do not understand how important this is to get it on record. We, the people, are building the case. So when we get things close to straighten out, we're going to lay this out as evidence. Boom, 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 boom. We did this. You refused to do this. Gotcha. We did this. You denied this. Gotcha. Right. We did this. You were against it. Gotcha. So that we have to lay these out on a record. This is why it takes so long. It's so annoying to us. They haven't done it yet. I get it. Trust me, nobody knows more than I do. But there has to be a process here because we're fighting against corporate law. If we were in a common law constitutional system, it'd be a no-brainer. The stuff would be over by now.
Yeah.
But what we're having to do is kind of have to play the legal and lawfare game at the same time. So I believe we're starting to make inroads, and it comes down to what we always say, that we the people have to come up supporting and pushing this stuff through, and then our military will publicly start to support us.
We're getting there. It really does feel like it. I mean, just watching some of the chat room here too and seeing some of the comments, and people are just like, man, it's really popping. There's just stuff in every direction now. And it's like, well, pick a topic. I pay a lot of attention to. And then look at the 2020 election, right? Somebody used to sing, what is it, 2020, it isn't over yet? Clearly not over yet, right? We're definitely seeing more and more popping. We got the results of the Arizona audit. Remember that giant audit that was in the arena, and it was the entire summer, and they never really gave us the results, but now that's coming out. And they said this election was not certifiable. It was such a disaster. It wasn't certifiable. And now we're hearing more and more about the voting machines. There are more and more people who are waking up to the fact that, yeah, this isn't secure. It's not cheap. It's not secure. It's not faster than counting a paper ballot. Why are we doing it? A lot of people are waking up to it now. Not just this country, but other countries as well. Other countries are looking here and saying, what's going on? So every one of these things we're looking at, it's like things are popping in every area, guys. I know it's hard. It's frustrating. You wish we were there already. I do too. I'm having a frustrating day too. I just like, I was telling Lewis, I don't feel like being here today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be talking about this stuff, because we get frustrated. We're human too. But you take a break, go take a deep breath, go do something else, and then you can come back to it fresh again. And that's how you.
I never claimed to be human. So you speak for yourself.
Oh.
I can tell you which would make everybody feel a lot better.
Liberal tears.
Liberal tears. There's nothing better than liberal tears.
Are they sugar-free? Are they caffeine-free? Are they free range?
Yeah, I hesitate to tell our audience what I have in here, right? Because it doesn't matter what I do. It's like, oh, you're drinking out of metal. You should drink out of glass.
That's
what
right.
I mean? It's hilarious. So guys, this is tea. What type of tea? Is it organic tea, right? Is it caffeinated or non-caffeinated? Do you have sugar in it? You better not have sugar in there. Oh, don't use honey. That's not good anymore anyways. Oh, you have stevia? Okay, let me tell you all about stevia, Lewis. So I'm like, oh, gee, should I say it? Okay, guys, come at me. It's organic black tea that I brewed today with pH balanced filtered water with filtered ice cubes that did come from the faucet, plus stevia for flavoring. Come at me. Tell me how it's all bad for me. I get it. Trust me. It's hard, isn't it?
This is a good example, right, of what they do in our society can keep us confused. Because once we're confused, we no longer have certainty going forward, right? So it's important that they do that. And you brought up a good point in the food industry. Oh my gosh, eggs are good for you. And then you go, which one is it?
They did that back and forth. I counted 8 times.
Yeah.
Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And you know what they do? You remember how they destroyed the butter industry in the 70s
with margarine? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With margarine, right? And now we find out margarine's probably the worst thing that you could possibly
hydrogenated oil. Yeah, worst thing
put in your body.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's dairy-free, though. If you're dairy-free, then that might be an option. But no, it's not. It's hydrogenated oil. It's really bad for you. Horrible stuff. All right. I want to jump forward here. I'm just looking at the clock. We try to keep it under 90 minutes, and we got a lot sometimes to cover. But just want to let you know about SBG Ascent and their pine needle extract. Real important to keep your immune system up, especially now. What are they threatening? They're threatening another what? What are they calling it?
Bird flu this time?
Oh, the bird flu that attacks the cows. Yes, absolutely. You see the experts on TV now saying everyone's going to get it and there's a 50% mortality rate. Don't be one of those people who buys into this. Pine needle extract is one thing you can do to help your respiratory system stay strong, boost your immune system, has a lot of health benefits. And the benefit that I love the most is it tastes great, which means you'll use it. SBGAscent.com. Have a look. SBGASCENT.com. Have a look there and get yourself a bottle. Test it out yourself. I think you're going to love it.
So if you really break down the narrative, if a human wants to prevent from getting bird flu, just don't come in contact with a cow. What the fuck?
Stay away from the cows.
That's literally what they're telling. That's what they're saying. They're saying, if you don't want bird flu, don't come near a cow. It's like, and people eat this stuff up. They're like, okay, go do that.
Yeah, they believe it. That's the challenge. They're always buying into this, the narrative. It's like, and it becomes so ridiculous that when you look at it with any kind of critical eye, you could see right through it. But there's so many, I see them out there with their masks on and they're afraid and they're 6 feet away. Guys, the 6 feet away thing was nothing. It was a joke. It wasn't what Fauci came up with. It meant nothing.
I challenge everybody, when you hear a narrative, whether it's marketing, a documentary, from mainstream media, whatever it is, I challenge you just to say, okay, stop for a second. Is that true? Huh. What's really going on here?
Yeah.
So here's a great example. I guess you can say that one of my, what do you call it when you like to, you watch something, but you know, everybody's like, you shouldn't be watching that stuff all the time. Like if you watch Jersey Shore or whatever, there's a guilty pleasure. Okay. So my guilty pleasure by far is watching nature documentaries. I mean, I fall asleep to them. I love nature documentaries. In fact, I'm going to be doing something really special shortly here in regards to our so-called climate crisis. But here's what's interesting. Every single one of them, whether they're good, their information's real, blah, 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 they insert two things into all of them. They show a picture of a digital-sized spinning globe. And for some reason, they always feel that's necessary to show. Doesn't matter what the subjects can be, monkeys in a forest, and they have to show that, right? And they always bring up it. This wouldn't happen like this, what you're seeing, if it wasn't for man-made climate change. They always so we're constantly being brainwashed. We just don't know it now.
Right.
People would say, "Well, Lewis, if you know that, why would you subject to that?" To yourself, because I do know it, and it's hilarious and it's fun, because the second I see it, I laugh it away and it's gone. And that's why here, Robert and I made a conscious decision a few months ago that when these crazy narratives come across our desk, we are going to mock them, use sarcasm, laugh at it, right? And we're going to break their spell immediately.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. So it's the same thing. So I can watch those things all day long because that part comes up. I'm like, good try.
Good try.
You know what I mean? It's really what it is. But it's fun stuff for me to watch.
Where are my McDonald's French fries anyway?
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, I can tell wherever they are, even if they were there 14 years ago, they're still there today.
They're still fresh. Exactly.
If Bidenica is right for you.
All righty then. Look at that hat, huh? How stylish is that?
Just look right here. Are the ears attached or are they unattached? That's it. Pretty simple. You don't have to work too hard if you just look at the earlobe.
Which one is which? Attached is new, detached is old?
Yeah, the attached is new. The detached, the unattached, like normal ears, that's the old one.
Yeah, somebody in the mask department's got to get that right. They certainly messed it up.
Yeah. It's probably harder to do, you know. They're more vulnerable to falling off. Damn it, we couldn't get it. Let's just put them together. Whoop, there we go.
They pull the mask off, probably grab the ears and yank it off, right? Oh, brother. All right, tomorrow, what do we got going on?
Wow. Tomorrow at this same bat time and channel, we have the lovely the lovely Mark Atwood here, and he is going to bring it, kind of have a little information on what we're going to talk about. That is going to be fun tomorrow, so be here there. And then we are going to go live, myself, Robert Imbrielli, and Ethan Lucas during the debate right here live. You don't have to go anyplace else. It's going to be right here, woohoo, tomorrow. And that will be at whatever the debate time is. I believe is it 6:30, Robert, Pacific?
I think it's 6 Pacific, but yeah, maybe a little while
6.
before they get it rolling. They have to do the introductions and stuff.
Yeah, and I think we might start here at 5:45, a little early to give a little commentary before it starts. Yeah. We'll see. But it's getting, excuse me, it'll be a lot of fun. I need liberal tears to get rid of my cough.
Help yourself there. Make yourself at home. I love it. I love it.
So good.
Excellent. And then, that's going to be, we have Mark Atwood in the afternoon, and then in the evening we'll have the debate. And we're not going to debate each other, though. That's for another day.
Well, that's a debate.
Let's debate that one. And then on the weekend, we have San Ysidro.
Let's double. Denise is saying 7:30 Eastern. I don't think so. Let me double check so people don't get the wrong information.
Mm-hmm. 6
time.
p.m. Pacific is 9 p.m. East Coast times. That would be a little late.
Let's see here.
Hey, 4:30 would be our show would roll right into.
Yeah, exactly.
Much,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you, Denise. We're checking on it right now. Okay. Oh my God. So crazy. Can't even find it instantly. Here we go. The debate will take place on Thursday, June 27 at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Pacific. So you guys could be here at 5:45 Pacific, 8:45 Eastern, and should be on the air by that time.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Good job today.
Well, thank you, sir. You too. And let's get out of here. Appreciate everybody. Love you.